Okay, so let's go over the study guide real quick. So number one, which inequality is graphed? Well, I can take a look at this and I can say that the y-intercept equals -1 because this is where it crosses the y-axis. And then I have this point here, so I can go 1, 2 up. So my slope will equal 2 up and 1 left. Okay, so that's going to give me 2 over -1, or a slope of 2. Okay, so now I know my slope and I know my y-intercept, so that's going to be the equation of the line would be y equals 2x minus 1. Now, it needs to be an inequality. So, I know that it is going to be, since it's the bottom of the line is shaded, it's going to be y is less than, and it's a solid line, so equals. So it should be y is less than or equal to 2, not negative, x minus 1. Okay? So that should be the answer, which would be C. And I could always check that. I could plug in a point in the shaded area and make sure it's true. So in this case, I could shade in something like, I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2. 2, 2. So if I plug in 2, 2, it would be 2 is greater than or equal to 2 times 2 minus 1, where 2 is greater than or equal to 4 minus 1 is 3. And of course that is true, so the answer is C. Number 2, which of the following is the graph of the solution? Okay, so what I would want to do is I would just solve these. So I would say 7a plus 3 is less than or equal to a minus 15. Subtract a from both sides, and I get 6a plus 3 is less than or equal to -15. I would subtract 3 from both sides. 6a is less than or equal to -18. Divide both sides by 6, and a is less than or equal to -3. And then I would solve 5a minus 3 is less than 8a. Subtract 5a from both sides, and I get -3 is less than 3a. Divide both sides by 3, and I get a is greater than -1. Well, I take a look over here, and where is a less than or equal to -3? Well, that would be A, B, or C. Now I take a look where a is greater than -1. Well, that would be C. So that would be the graph. Number 3, which of the following graph the solution set? So all I got to do is graph this. So where is x greater than 0? That would be C is the only one that fits that. And then the other side is x is less than -4. Again, C is the only one that fits both of those. Number 4, which inequality corresponds to the graph shown? Well, with number 4, I would say absolute value, x minus the midpoint. The midpoint is 1, so -1. And then I have to do an inequality. Well, less than or equal to is for the or, and greater than or greater than equal to is for the or, and less than or less than equal to is for the and. This is an or problem. So therefore I would say it's open circles, so it's just greater than, and then next thing is the distance from the midpoint to the endpoint, and those are 3. So it would be the absolute value of x minus 1 is greater than 3. which in this one is C. Number 5, which ordered pair is part of the solution set of the inequality? Well, one way that you could solve this one would be I could go 5 minus y is less than or equal to negative 3x. I can subtract 5 from both sides, and I get negative y is less than or equal to negative 3x minus 5. Divide everything by negative 1, and I get y is greater than or equal to 3x plus 5. So I could do this, and then I could solve this. I could solve this basically. What they're looking for is which one makes it equal, okay? And if I plug in negative 2 for x and negative 1 for y, I would get 3 times negative 2 is 3 times negative 2 plus 5. I'll just write it all out. Negative 1 is greater than or equal to negative 6 plus 5. Negative 1 is greater than or equal to negative 1. So it would be B. Okay. Now, technically, all of these would pretty much fit the inequality. Okay. Number 6, which compound inequality has the solution set in the graph? So, number 6, I'm just basically looking at it. So, x, so let's start with negative 2, is less than x or equal to x because it would be equal to because it's a solid dot and x is greater than it, so that works there. And then x is less than 3 because we have an open dot going to the left, and that would end up being D. So it's just interpreting the graph. Let's see, number 7. For number 7, I would just simply solve. So 1.9 plus 1.7x is less than 2.1 times 3 plus x. So I'm going to distribute first. So 1.9 plus 1.7x is less than 2.1 times 3 would be 6.3, and 2.1 times x would be 2.1x. Then I would subtract 1.7x from both sides, and that's going to give me 1.9 is less than 6.3 plus 0.4x. I then would subtract 6.3 from both sides, and I'm going to get 4.4 negative, I believe. And this is going to be less than 0.4x. I am then going to divide both sides by 0.4. And that's going to give me negative 11 is less than x. Or another way to say that is x is greater than negative 11. Okay? Number 8. Simply subtract 3t from both sides, and I get 2t plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. Then I would subtract 8 from both sides, and I get 2t is less than or equal to negative 11. Divide both sides by 2, and t is less than or equal to negative 5.5. All right. Number 9. So looking at number 9, we are to graph y equals y is less than or equal to 3x. So I could take a look at this, and the first thing I know is there is no y-intercept. So that means we're going through the axis, so through origin, right there. I know my slope is 3, so I'm going to go up 3 over 1 and put my point. I know this is or equals to, so it's a solid line like this. Now I just have to pick which side I should graph. Well, one way that I could do that is I could plug a point in and see if it's true. So I could take y is greater than or equal to 3x. I could choose any point I want. Let's say I choose 2, 0 as an example. That would be 0 is less than or equal to 3 times 2, or 0 is less than or equal to 6, which that is true. So that means all of this has to be shaded. Okay? That's all you do. Number 10, I simply would solve that. So negative 3m is less than negative 18. Divide both sides by negative 3. And m is, don't forget when you divide by a negative, you reverse the inequality. And it would be a positive 6. So m is greater than 6. Number 11 says, Matthew is shopping for shoes and socks. He has $75 to spend. The shoes he likes cost $28 and the socks cost $4. Write an inequality for this situation. Okay, so the first thing we just want to write it in inequality. So we could say $28 times the number of socks, okay? I'm sorry, shoes. So x equals shoes and y equals socks. There we go. Keep it straight. Plus $4 per number of socks. And he has $75 to spend. That's all he's got. So he's got to spend less than that or equal to what he has to spend. Now it says, so that's part 1 of the problem. I'd have to put that as part 1. And then can Matthew buy 2 pairs of shoes and 5 pairs of socks? So all I have to do is say 28 times 2 pairs of shoes plus 4 times 5 pairs of socks should be less than or equal to $75. Well, that's going to give me 56 plus 20 is 76, and that is not true, so therefore it is false. So no, he could not buy that, okay? All right, number 12 says use the graph to solve. Well, so all I got to do to this one is put words y on one side. So 2y minus 4x is less than 8. I would simply add 4x to both sides. And I get 2y is less than 4x plus 8. Divide everything by 2. And I get y is less than 2x plus 4. So then I know that it's going to cross at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is my y-intercept. My slope is 2. Now you'll see that we're at the top of the graph. So to get a positive 2, I could do 2 negatives. So a negative 2 over a negative 1 is still going to give me a positive, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I could go down 2 to the left 1 and put my point. And then this is a dotted line, like so. And then, it's not the straightest line, but a dotted line. Then I can pick a point to figure out which side needs to be shaded, okay? And so if I pick 0, 0, I would have 2 times 0, which is 0, minus 4 times 0, which is 0, and 0 is less than 8, which is true. So all of this is shaded, okay? All right, 13 says, Abe has $4,500. He wants to buy a boat within $1,300 of this amount. Define the variable and write an open sentence and find the range of the boat prices. Now, this one's a little bit different, okay? So define a variable. So we have to define a variable on what it is, okay? So we're using x, and then we have to write an open sentence. That's to write a problem. Well, I could say the absolute value of $4,500, that's the original cost, minus x, okay, which is the money the boat cost, okay, and then that has to be less than or equal to $1,300. Okay, because he wants it to be a range within $1,300. Okay, then it asks to find the range of the boats. So in this problem, I would have to do the inequality. Okay, so then solve it. So 4,500 minus x less than or equal to 1,300, and we would have 4,500 minus x is greater than or equal to negative 1,300. Okay, and then I would just simply subtract 4,500 from both sides. And I would have negative x is less than or equal to negative 3,200. I would have to divide everything by negative 1, and that gives me x is greater than or equal to 3,200. And then on this one, I would subtract 4,500 from both sides. I get negative x is greater than or equal to negative 5,800. Divide both sides by negative 1, and x is less than or equal to 5,800. So my range is going to be from 3,200 to $5,800. Okay? All right. Number 14, I'm just solving. So 3 times negative w minus 6 is less than 2 times 2w plus 8 plus 1. So I'll distribute first. So negative 3w minus 18 is less than 4w plus 16 plus 1. Combine like terms. Negative 3w minus 18 is less than 4w plus 17. I'll add 3w to both sides. And that's going to give me negative 18 is less than 7w plus 17. I'll subtract 17 from both sides. And 7w is greater than negative 35. Divide both sides by 7. And I get negative 5 is less than w, or that's an or, w is greater than negative 5. Okay? This last one, I have the absolute value of 2x minus 5 is less than 3. So I'd have 2x minus 5 is less than 3. And I would have 2x minus 5 is greater than negative 3. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And I get 2x is less than 8. Divide by 2. And x is less than 4. And on this side, I would add 5. 2x is greater than 2. And then divide both sides by 2, and x is greater than 1. So I could say I could write it like that. Okay? All right. And that is it. If you got any questions, let me know. Have a great day.